During the last few months, we had a huge spike in the Bitcoin dominance, and you're probably wondering, is that gonna continue, or are we gonna retrace back and now it's a good time to switch to altcoins? In this video, I'll try to address that, and I'll try to help you to understand what's the most likely scenario to happen. Hello folks, my name is Željko and welcome to Unsymmetric. So recently I watched a video with Benjamin Cowen on Altcoins Daily where he was addressing what's next for Bitcoin dominance and where we're gonna go in the future. And honestly, if you watch my previous videos, you could see that I'm one of the biggest proponents that the Bitcoin dominance will continue rallying up. But what I think is that Benjamin Cowen overestimated it pretty much. I think that some of his arguments are pretty good, while honestly some others are very unlikely to happen. So let's go to the video and see what he said. So the first point which I wanted to address is the increase of Bitcoin dominance to 60%, so let's watch it.
So my hope is that this move is strong enough to get the dominance above that 50% level so that whenever Bitcoin corrects, the altcoin market continues its bleed back to Bitcoin. And if that happens, then the move to 60% dominance, as crazy as that sounds, right? As crazy as it sounds, but the move to 60% dominance can actually happen quite quickly. I've been under the assumption for a long time.
So if we look the charts and we look at the Bitcoin dominance, Ethereum dominance, altcoin dominance, and stablecoin dominance, and we look at the current numbers, we can see that the Bitcoin dominance should increase 13% more. And if we are just looking at how much Ethereum increased, like in comparison to the time where he looked into it, the Ethereum dominance pretty much doubled. And the main reason why I'm claiming that it's impossible to get Bitcoin dominance, almost impossible, nothing is impossible, right, to 60% is because there's just not enough room for this, And even if you're looking just at the recent moves, often he mentioned how the Bitcoin dominance, excluding stable coins that you can see here, is constantly rising. But the same thing is happening with Ethereum. And even though these lines look pretty similar, if you plot what are the returns, for example, here, and you look from this point to this point, pretty much the return is 30%, which is huge, honestly. And if we look into the Bitcoin and we draw again from the bottom to this line, even this gap seems bigger. It's bigger from the initial higher percentage, which people often don't take into consideration. So this increase is like 19%, which is much lower. And especially if you extrapolate it on a longer time frame, we can guess that the Ethereum dominance will increase even further in comparison to Bitcoin dominance and altcoins. Another point, even if we could see a big decrease in altcoins pretty much to this point, that would be 20%, it would be further increased down. If we see Ethereum dominance to 15% from the current 20, and stablecoin dominance to maybe 7-8%, even though this is a huge decrease of all three, if you sum this up, it's 8 plus 15, so it's 23, plus 20, it's 43, which pretty much leads the Bitcoin dominance up to 57%, which is pretty much to this point here. The only scenario where I see that even this could happen is if we would go not even to double bottom but even lower, because pretty much in that scenario the altcoin dominance would hugely decrease, and maybe we would need some bad event regarding the Shanghai upgrade, which would bring Ethereum dominance down. Stable coins are already in pretty bad situation, and if we see the decrease below 7% dominance, that would be a concern for the whole crypto market, in my opinion. Because if you look at the stablecoin dominance, we can see that the total market cap of stablecoins is constantly decreasing. And as you could see in the history, we always had a constant increase until pretty much the February of 2022. Then we have some kind of stagnation until the May. And then we can see that the stable coin market cap is constantly decreasing. It's probably because of the things that will happen with CBDCs and stuff like that. And we can see that if you look into the charts, that the USDT market cap is pretty much 2/3 of total cap of stable coins, which even Paul Arduino, which is a CTO of Tether, said that it's bad for the overall crypto market because it's way more likely that the governments will try to attack Tether again. That happened in the past multiple times and Tether resisted greatly, but you never know what's ahead of us. So let's look at the second point.
But I think that we need to see the dominance or the altcoin season index come back down into that like 5 level or so before we can truly get to the end of the altcoin reckoning, which is the altcoins being devalued on their Bitcoin pairs. Something that's very interesting.
Honestly, regarding the altcoin season index, I fully agree on this. The main reason behind it is if you look, the altcoin season index there, it's currently 14, which means that 7 of top 50 currencies are outperforming Bitcoin. And if we would take a look at each of these currencies, and if we look at the coin market cap, and if we look the last 60 days, we can see that there's like less and less currencies that are outperforming the Bitcoin. And if you look last 30 days, there is even less currencies in comparison to last 60 days. And like the altcoin season index takes like last 90 days. But if you take any of the currencies, let's say stocks for example, and if you look at the 3 months time frame, like once we get to this point where the starting point for calculation becomes this number, the return of the stocks goes like from 0.74 to 0.81, which is maybe 10%, which is a large decrease in comparison to the current number, which is like 237%. So as the times goes on, these numbers are moving and we are adding the new data. And like as I said, if you look the last 30 days, Bitcoin is performing pretty good. So maybe there will be only like XRP that is actually outperforming Bitcoin, or maybe 1 or 2 more currencies. So this argument is pretty valid, and especially if you get a pullback in the market, this is like way more likely to happen. Okay, let's go to the third point that I disagree with.
Ben, I do notice on these charts that there is diminishing returns on Bitcoin dominance. So even though we're brushing up against 50% now, there's no guarantee if we keep diminishing those returns that we get back to 70 or whatever that last level was last season.
Right. So you see lower highs, but you also see higher lows. If you extend this time frame out a few years, this will actually converge in about 2026. So I guess 2026 might be the time we get to figure out, will Bitcoin dominance go back up? Or will it come back? Will it come back down? And to actually give you a more, maybe a closer look at what my expectation is for the Bitcoin dominance, because I think some people might assume that I only ever think it's going to go up, but I would say that a likely path for it, could be something like this, where it comes back up maybe to 55%, 60%, and then bleeds back down for a bit, and then comes back up for say like a double top or something, maybe similar to over here, and then it's at this point that you can actually get these major alt seasons, right? This is the alt season that everyone dreams of.
So again, I addressed already the 60% issue because like there's just not enough room for that growth. Like the way how I could see it, like achieving double top, it would be at the range which is something like this or slightly higher, and that could happen if we see a relief valley continuation. And if we would see the altcoin dominance to go up a little as the rally is continuing. And then once we get a pullback, Bitcoin dominance increase to double top. But in case if we get above 55%, that would need to happen during a pullback. I don't think that it's even possible for that to happen during the relief valley, unless we have a total collapse of USDT or something like that, that would have a huge impact for either stablecoins to decrease, either Ethereum to decrease, or something similar. There is one more point that I wanted to address from the video.
Is it something more so akin to a logarithmic regression chart where the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation is sort of slowly going up with time? And therefore, I think the place that you might get interested in Ethereum, at least with respect to Bitcoin, is if it comes back down to this level down here, maybe around 0.03, 0.04 or so. Could be an interesting level to at least consider.
So if we take a look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, like the levels which he proposes something like this. This means like 50% of decrease in Ethereum value. And yeah, we broke a support level recently, but I think that there is a super high probability that it's a false breakdown, and that would be a bullish sign for Ethereum. And if we look, for example, on a long time frame, we have a Shanghai upgrade, which will incentivize so many people to start staking Ethereum, because if you look into the staking rewards chart, we can see that there is so few staked Ethereum in comparison to other layer ones. And if you look into the adjusted rewards, which calculates issuance rates of the coins, pretty much how many coins are increased in circulation each year in comparison to the reward you're getting, Ethereum is one of the best when it comes to that, and it's already the largest layer one. And as I saw you previously in the charts, like the increase in Ethereum in comparison to Bitcoin, to altcoins and stable coins, is growing consistently, which is another strong sign for Ethereum in a long run. So if Ben thinks that the Bitcoin dominance can increase to 60%, I would like to hear from him what will decrease its valuation so much. Is it Ethereum? Is it altcoins? Is it stable coins? Even though that I think that the Bitcoin dominance will continue going up a bit, I think 60% is so unrealistic number. Anyway, I hope that you liked the video. Please consider subscribing. I also created a Discord recently where I'm posting more updates, because it's much faster to send a message than record a video. So consider joining Discord server as well. Thank you for watching. Stay strong and healthy. Bye.